Sarah Drummond's story began not in freedom, but in chains. It was 1823 when a slave trader from Virginia brought 37 souls to the Charleston auction yards, men, women, and children, stripped of everything but their breath. Among them was a woman unlike any other. She stood so tall that she bent to enter the hall, her head brushing the wooden beams. The crowd murmured as though beholding a miracle or a monster. Her name was Sarah. She was a woman of staggering height and strength, her hands large enough to cradle a man's skull. Today, physicians would call it pituitary gigantism, but in 1823, there was no science for her, only spectacle. To the bidders, she was not human, she was a curiosity. The auctioneer shouting, "Behold, the tallest creature this side of creation, a true marvel." Crowd murmurs. Sarah ducks under the doorway, towering above everyone. Silence, fear, horror. Josiah Crane, a plantation owner known for his cruelty and greed, bought her for $1,300, a fortune then, double the price of a skilled craftsman as he raises his hand.
"I will take her home. She is mine now."
Auctioneer: sold to Mr. Crane of Marshbend Plantation, $1,300. The crowd grabs. Sarah's eyes harden as chains are placed on her wrist. He took her to his estate, Marshbend, deep in the mosquito-choked wetlands of the South Carolina coast. A wagon rolls through swamp roads until they got to Marshbend Plantation. There, enslaved people waded through the rice swamps until disease or exhaustion took them. Sarah's immense strength made her both prized and feared. Crane paraded her before guests, forcing her to lift barrels of rice, anvils, even live pigs, like an exhibit in a cruel carnival. "Strong as 10 men, she will make me rich twice over," Crane said. Sarah glances at the feeds, human figures bent in the mud. Sarah hauls heavy barrels of rice alone. Overseer Reby smirks. "The world's got no end to her back," Reby says. Sarah's muscles strain, but her eyes stay calm, burning with quiet rage. Crane invites Charleston elites to witness her strength. She lifts an anvil before their laughter. Crane: "You see, God made her for work." Sarah's tear meets his, a moment of silent hate. A Charleston physician observes her and wrote in his diary, "Her proportions exceed all I have witnessed among humankind. Her power unsettles me, as though nature herself had made an error." But Sarah was not an error. She was endurance made flesh. And though they called her a beast, she never forgot she was human. The doctor writing, "Her size disturbs the natural order. Such power belongs not in a woman." Sarah turns, overhearing him, eyes filled with silent fire. At night, Sarah sits apart. The enslaved whisper, "She never cries," a woman softly said. "She ain't human, she is a wall," a man replied. Sarah whispered to herself, "No, I am flesh." Sarah endured the beatings, the humiliation, the endless days in the flooded fields. Her silence terrified her captors. She did not cry, she did not beg, she simply stood unyielding. When overseers raised their whips, she would step forward, blocking the lash from striking the weak. One evening, Reby beats a young boy. Sarah steps forward, shielding him. Reby, "Move, woman." She doesn't move. The whip strikes her back. but she doesn't flinch. Among the enslaved, whispers spread. She is the one who cannot be broken. Crane hated that name. It meant power, it meant hope, and hope to a man like Crane was rebellion. Crane storms out. "You will learn your place, giant," Crane said. He orders more lashes. Sarah takes them silently, as silence is a rebellion. Sarah lies on her cot, bleeding. Marcus, a carpenter with hands gentle enough to shape wood like silk, tends to her wounds. "Marcus, you can't keep standing for everyone." "If I don't stand, who will?" Sarah replied. Sarah found something she never thought she did have: love. In Marcus, she found her first taste of peace. Marcus carves her a small wooden bed. They share quiet laughter for the first time. "Even a wall needs someone to lean on," Marcus said. Sarah smiles faintly. Whitby spies on them. Whitby says to Crane, "She's warming to the carpenter." Crane's eyes narrow. "Let her. I will break that too." January 1827. Sarah gave birth to a son, Jacob. He was small, fragile, and perfect. For Sarah, the world began anew with his first cry, as the baby's cry fills the earth. Sarah kisses the child's forehead. "He is mine." Months later, Sarah hums softly to Jacob by candlelight. Other women watch her, hope in their eyes. "A war's found a heart," a woman says. Sarah smiles. "A war stands to protect," she says. But peace on a plantation like that of Crane is an illusion. By summer, Crane's debts caught up with him. Crane argues with his accountant. "Your estate's collapsing, sir." Crane glares towards the fields. "Then I will sell what I must," Crane said. Crane calls Sarah into the yard. "Crane, your boy fetches 400 in Savannah." Sarah drops to her knees. "Please, I will work double. Don't take him away," Sarah pleaded in tears. "You work triple already." "But can't afford that," Crane said, laughing. Sarah pleaded. She begged on her knees. Crane only laughed and ignored. Morning mist. A trader loads baby Jacob into a wagon. Sarah watches, motionless, as the cart rolls away. The field goes silent. Even the birds stop. She stands for an hour after he is gone. The others watched in silence. They said her eyes went still, not from tears, but from something colder, something finer. That night, the wind at Marsh Bend changed. That night, she collapses in the hut, clutching Jacob's blanket. Marcus holds her tight. "It took my heart," Sarah whispers. Her eyes open wide, something inside her gone cold. Thunder cracks. Sarah walks outside in the rain, staring at Crane's house. Lightning flashes. She whispers to the storm, "You will answer me, Josiah Crane." Ruth and others in the kitchen hear her voice through the rain, chanting softly in an African tongue, ancestral, old as the earth. Ruth, terrified. "She's calling spirits," she said. Crane drinks brandy, laughing to himself. "She will bend or break," Crane said. Outside, a shadow passes the window, taller than any man. Sarah enters back into her hut, wraps her hand, dressing it tight, and ties her hair back. She lifts the wooden bed Marcus carved, kisses it once. "No more chains," Sarah said to herself. Marcus sees her leave into the dark. "Sarah, wait," Marcus said. She doesn't look back. She moves into the rain. In the library, Crane looks up from his ledger as Sarah steps inside. "Crane, you dare come here?" "I came for my son," Sarah said. Crane reaches for his pistol, fires. The bullet hits her shoulder. She staggers but doesn't fall. "What are you?" Crane, shocked. "What you made me become," Sarah replied. She takes the pistol from him and hurls it across the room. He backs away. "What else can you take?" Sarah said with tears. Her hands rise. Then the sound. Crack, silence. Crane falls. Blood drips onto his ledger. Ruth bursts into the room with others. They find Crane's body, skull crushed, the windows open, blood trail leading out. Sarah limps through the rice fields, moonlight glinting off the water, dogs bark in the distance. She wades into the swamp and vanishes into mist. The marsh is swamped with lawmen and slave catchers. They follow the trail of blood through the library window to the rice fields, but it ended where the swamp began. "Find her!" the captain shouted. The dogs lose the scent at the black water's edge. Some said she drowned, others said the earth itself swallowed her whole. Charleston's white elites trembled. They called her monstrous, proof that the enslaved were dangerous when unchanged. Patrols doubled, laws grew harsher. But among the enslaved, a legend was born of a mother who rose against her master and vanished into the wild. Newspapers scream, planter slain by his giant slave woman.
"This is her chain here."
Planters tighten patrols. Preachers call her the devil's daughter. But whispers spread among the enslaved. The wall lives. "Marcus is beaten. Where is she?" a sheriff asked. Marcus, weakly and stressed, said, "She is where you can't follow." Months later, overseers report seeing a tall woman moving through swamps at night. Some say her eyes glow, others say she carries a baby blanket. A magistrate in Charleston opens an unsigned letter and read, "To those seeking the woman Sarah, I am not dead. I go north to find my son. Any man who stops me will meet the fate of Josiah Crane." The letter was suppressed, hidden from the public, but whispers carried it further than any law could stop. Ruth narrates the story to some field workers in the town. Hope flickers. "Maybe she's gone, maybe she's free," an old man among them says. Two fugitives crossing Georgia's swampland speak of a woman who broke chains with her bare hands. She said her name is Sarah. "Said she's heading north," one of the fugitives said. Sarah helps a group of runaways cross a flood river at night. One sleeps. She lifts him with one arm. "Who are you?" a young woman, breathless, said. "A woman looking for her son," Sarah replies. Slave catchers spot her tracks near Savannah. They follow, guns drawn, but find only a shredded chain nailed to a tree, glinting in the moonlight. Sarah hides in an abandoned church, tending to her hound. She whispers to her child's blanket,
"Jacob, I am coming."
Marcus is sold to South after refusing to speak. As he's chained, he smiles faintly. "The wall still stands," he said. Years later, conductors of the Underground Railroad speak of a giant woman who appears in the woods to guide lost travelers. A group of fugitives crosses into freedom. "Who led you here?" asked the engineers. A woman tall as a door frame said she's looking for her son, the fugitives answered. A rumor spreads among abolitionist, the mother from the marsh. Artists sketch her from tales. Newspapers call her the phantom giantess. In a cabin up north, Sarah stares into a cracked mirror, her hair streaked with grey, her eyes still burning. Sarah said to herself, "I was bought, I was beaten, but I was never broken." She writes again, slowly, painfully. "I have not found my son, but I have found my name. I am the wall. I stand for all who cannot." In a gathering of freed blacks, a storyteller recounts a legend. Children sit wide-eyed with the storyteller. She stood between the whip and the child. That's why they called her the wall, the storyteller narrates. In a southern field, years later, an old man whispers her name to a boy. "Remember, no chain is stronger than the heart that resists," the old man says. Years later, Jacob is grown and lives in Pennsylvania. He carves a wooden cross and places it on a grave marked Sarah. "Mama, I found you," Jacob said softly. He looks up, snow falling like peace. In a vision, Sarah stands at the edge of the swamp again, holding a child. She smiles. The storm clears. Her voice echoes, "I am not dead. I am the wall." They called her a monster, but she became a mite, and in every act of defiance, her footsteps remain. The woman they called the wall.